and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Afraid of Trump. I get it. I understand. But stop saying that he's Hitler 2.0. He's not. All this talk about him being a dictator and a tyrant, what's the difference? Democratic and Republican politicians have been screwing our lives over for decades. They've been doing it long before yours truly was born, and they're going to keep on doing it if we don't change anything long after I am dead and 6 feet under in the ground. That's what's going to happen. And I don't like that. I hope we have a different outcome. I hope I don't get to that age to where nothing ever changes, because that would really, really suck, and I would become a very bitter old man. But nonetheless, Trump allies fire back at media as there are warnings of a second-term dictatorship. Oh, my God, Donald Trump, a dictator? Seriously, they're using 2016 tactics over again. I told you that they were going to do this. I told you they were going to keep on acting like a fool. So it turns out headlines blaring warnings about a second Trump presidency could slip toward dictatorship on Monday prompted a stiff pushback from allies of the ex-president, who is topping GOP primary polls this week before the Iowa caucuses. Trump is going to win. Okay, there, ripping that Band-Aid off. And no, this isn't an endorsement of Trump, but I've been doing this show now since 2017. This isn't my first election that I've covered or gave analysis to or gave commentary to. All right, I'm just saying what's out there. Voters has said so into the media, be it on the radio, television, cable news, the internet, that Republican voters want Trump. And in the Republican primary, Trump is dominating all the candidates, and he didn't even show up to one single debate. In fact, anything that he has done differently, such as going on Tucker Carlson's show or doing anything else, he has gotten more views than the Republican primary debate. So what does that tell you about the candidates? They're all lackluster. They're all mediocre. The Washington Post, the Atlantic, the New York Times, each published stories referencing a Trump dictatorship, just like they just said in 2016, just like how they said, oh, if Trump wins again in 2020, it'll be a dictatorship. I am tired of living in fear. I got enough problems as it is. I don't need a media adding more gasoline to the fire. I think we all can agree on that. We all got our problems, but oh no, a Trump dictatorship. And what? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? The Democratic Party made it abundantly clear that they don't want my vote. They don't care about progressive values. So as a independent leftist, I am going to do my own thing. I'm going to vote independent or third party. I don't know who's going to get my vote, but it's not going to be a Democratic politician. And no, it's not going to be a Republican politician. But when I see the Washington Post or the Atlantic or the New York Times say, oh no, here's a Trump dictatorship, I don't care. I don't care. Do any of you care? This is all just to cause you to have fear, to have pain in your stomach or have a headache. Beware of a Trump presidency. Oh no, who cares? I really don't care. All of these articles calling Trump a dictator are about one thing: legitimizing illegal, violent conduct as we get closer to the election, said Senator J.D. Vance, Republican from Ohio. A Trump ally wrote on Twitter, everyone needs to take a chill pill. He might be a Republican politician, right? But I agree with the statement. Everyone, just chill. Look, 2023 has been a crappy year for a lot of people. I want to forget this year so badly. And 2024, I hope, is more positive. But guess what? I'm preparing for the worst. It's August 2016 all over again. Skyrocketing costs of healthcare has millions worried. President Trump's Democratic opponent off the campaign trail and hiding from the press. Senior Trump advisor Jason Miller wrote on Twitter, Democrats and their media allies have given up on debating issues and have shifted to name-calling and rhetoric fear-mongering. They're not wrong. This is all what the Democrats have. Vote blue no matter who. All those people carrying water for the Democrats. Is this all you have? Fear-mongering. Trump. Oh no, Trump's hiding in the shadows. Trump's hiding under your bed. Trump's living rent-free in your head. This is all you have. Good luck with your tactics, because in 2020, Democrats, vote blue no matter who. You were bullying people on social media. You're making people feel bad about voting independent in 2016. To anyone that was bullied, or made to feel guilty and voted Democrat in 2020. Don't give in to the pressure. The Democrats never follow through. And if the Democrats and vote blue, no matter who, have to bully to get votes, that should tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, that they have nothing to offer you. And you have every right to stand up on your two legs, look them in the eye, and give them a firm slap across the mouth. What's going to change under a Biden-Harris administration in 2024? What's the difference? What's the difference? 2024 is going to be a click, copy, paste of 2020. Two old men fighting over a cold bowl of soup. That cold bowl of soup being America. The Atlantic announced Monday the magazine's January-February issue would be dedicated to what a second Trump term would mean for immigration. By the way, those kids in cages, that happened under Obama's administration. So Trump has the excuse of, hey, it was like that when I got here. To anyone who remembers that old school Simpsons episode where Homer taught Bart to shave, you're the real ones out there. It was like that when he got there. Civil rights. Well, Democrats don't care about civil rights, so whatever. The Justice Department, that's a joke. Climate, no one cares. And more. The magazine's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, wrote an editor's note titled, A Warning to Introduce the Series. Listen, corporate media. You know, I'm just going to tell you something, right? I probably might butcher the quote, and I apologize to anyone in the audience that knows the quote verbatim. But it was Napoleon Bonaparte who said, you know, when your enemy's making a mistake, don't correct them. But look, Jeffrey, The Atlantic, New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, you do realize that you got more views because Trump was running. And in 2016, throughout 2020, those are your golden years because everyone was tuning in. Without Trump, if nothing happened, you guys are still going under. The Trump presidency saved you guys, technically. Without Trump, you're nothing. Trump is probably the biggest job producer in the corporate media industrial complex. All right? Without Trump, you go nowhere. I mean, look what happened now to Vice, BuzzFeed, Jezebel. You know, they made their bread and butter being anti-Trump or doing articles or reviews on things and adding in Trump. Without Trump, they're gone. Gone in the wind. Gone forever. I mean, secretly, I'm willing to bet that all these reporters, part of the establishment, are just kind of whispering in corners like, I do hope Trump wins because then we get some money. They're going to get some vulture capitalist jagoff to give them money. Just look at the gravestones of Vice, BuzzFeed, Jezebel, and all the others. They're gone and forgotten. The New York Times on Monday published its latest piece in a series focused on what a second Trump term might mean for the country. In it, the reporters noted Trump's rhetoric on the campaign trail has attracted a growing alarm of comparisons to historical fascist dictators and contemporary populist strongmen. And a Washington Post opinion column. Oh, hey, look, everyone's entitled to opinion. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it. Pen and editor-at-large Robert Kagan headlined, A Trump dictatorship is increasingly inevitable. We should stop pretending. These people probably wet the bed. You know, Robert probably is laying in bed and is, you know, he's like, Trump, don't chase me with the axe, Trump. Like, I could see all these reporters, these people, these vocal, no matter who, like they all probably have the same dream. Imagine it, right? Let's have a little laugh here. Beautiful green scenic hills, right? Looks like nice farmland. Maybe somewhere out there in West Virginia. Hey, only real ones know the song I'm referencing. But you know, beautiful scenic hills, and there's the reporters screaming, they're waving their arms, crying, wetting themselves. They're all running en masse like scared sheep, and behind them was an axe, wearing his best suit and tie, Donald Trump. Just close your eyes and imagine it, and if you could draw it, you're even greater. But that's probably what all these people in corporate media feel like. They're constant victims. They make themselves out trying like, oh, we got to do this resistance because a dictatorship's coming. Okay. Who cares? This isn't the first time. Okay. And look, controversial statement. We've had worse politicians than Donald Trump in office, okay? We've had far more terrible people than Donald Trump. Think Trump's the bad guy? No. No. Sometimes the greatest evil can hide in the light. And a lot of these politicians are professional liars. They know how to put on a mask to lie. George Santos is the true avatar of Washington, D.C. You see, Santos got sloppy. All these politicians in D.C., in the House of Representatives, in the U.S. Senate, they're just like Santos, except they can hide it better. But at the end of the day, remove the mask, remove all the fancy, shiny things around them, and they're just like George Santos. That's who they are. Trump allies dismissed the pileup as the latest instance of media outlets opposing the former president, who routinely derides the press as fake news and previously called some journalists the enemy of the people. This is nothing more than another version of the media's failed and false Russia collusion hoax. Trump campaign spokesman Steve Chung said to the Atlantic Project, claiming the magazine will be out of business soon because nobody will read that trash. He's not wrong there. He's not wrong there. Several Trump allies in Congress also took aim at the recent spate of headlines suggesting Trump could rule like a dictator. You know, I'm going to laugh. Let's say Trump gets elected. I know, I just triggered a lot of liberals. In 2024 and it ends in 2028. Nothing happens. The man just flies off into the sunset. Nothing changes. That's it. That's the end. I'm going to trigger some more liberals. But then in 2028, Donald Trump's son runs for president. Oh no, it's an imperial presidency. Who cares? So all these journalists are the same. And look, Liz Cheney. Hey, there's a last name you could trust. Says, I think the threat is very real. It's very real and it's concerning. Okay, yeah, all right, whatever. A Trump presidency. And so going further, she goes on to say, and I don't say any of that lightly. And frankly, it's painful for me as someone who has spent her whole life in Republican politics, who grew up as a Republican, to watch what's happening to my own party and to watch the extent to which Donald Trump himself has basically determined that the only thing that matters is him, his power, and his success. Like any other politician. Like your old man, Liz. Jesus Christ, these people. These people. Hold on. You want to see what these media experts are doing now? Here, look. Hey, Hassan, what are you doing? You don't have a TV show anymore. Look at this. 22 seconds. 22 seconds of people who are just mentally challenged, who live in a bubble of fear and want you to feel the same thing too. Don't be afraid. Be brave. Be best. To quote Melania Trump.
If Donald Trump wins the 2024 presidential election, will we be having another election in 2028, Jason?
I think we'll be having a fake election of the sort you have in authoritarian countries. So not a free and fair election ever again.
Yeah, at best, we'll have a fake election. At worst, we'll have no elections.
Wow. Stunning analysis there. Riveting. Incredible. Magnificent. Stop being afraid, folks. Don't let these people make you feel ashamed or sad. You know, Donald Trump running for office. He has a right to run for office. It is in his constitutional right to run for president. And I know myself and everyone else, including all of you in 2020, I think a lot of us would have been shocked and surprised if Trump wasn't going to run in 2024. But yet, he did it. He was running if he wasn't going to run. And here he is. He's doing it now. And yet the media says that we have to be afraid, that we have to hide in fear. I don't believe in that. And neither should you. So when you see corporate media posting these articles about, oh, be afraid of a Trump dictatorship, just know there's no facts behind it, because Trump running for office and all of his rhetoric, we've seen and heard it before. Except corporate media wants to package it as something brand new and frightening. We got enough problems as it is, and we don't need the media to add more fuel to the fire. Before we end this segment, I want to play this video segment of Robert De Niro talking about, hey, how much fear Trump is putting into the political atmosphere. Leave it to these actors and actresses to also add in more fuel to the fire of fear.
The beginning of my speech was edited, cut out. I didn't know about it. And I want to read it. It was, thank you. History isn't history anymore. Truth is not truth. Even facts are being replaced by alternative facts and driven by conspiracy theories and ugliness. In Florida, young students are taught that slaves developed skills which could be applied for their personal benefit. The entertainment industry isn't immune to this festering disease. The Duke John Wayne famously said of Native Americans, "I don't feel we did wrong in taking this great country away from them. There were great numbers of people who needed new land, and the Indians were selfishly trying to keep it for themselves." Lying has become just another tool in the charlatan's arsenal. The former president lied to us more than 30,000 times during his years in office. And he's keeping up the pace in his current campaign of retribution. But with all his lies, he can't hide his soul. He attacks the weak, destroys the gifts of nature, and shows disrespect, for example, by using Pocahontas as a slur.
If Trump didn't exist, the Democrats would create one. And all their liberal sycophants. They got to make him into the bad guy. But he is not the bad guy. It's easy to spot, excuse me, the cartoon, excuse me there. It's easy to spot the cartoon villain twirling their mustache. It's easy to see the bad guy who acts like a cartoon villain. Sometimes the greatest villains hide in positions of power that are shielded as institutions of good. Remember that.
Filmmakers, on the other hand, strive, and this is where I came in and I saw that they edited all that. So I'm going to say these things, but to Apple and thank them and all that, Gotham, blah, 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 Apple, but...
And we're going to stop there. Look, I just want to read this response from Jimmy Dore, and I'll give him the final word. The guy he voted for is currently enabling a genocide in Gaza. That's being Joe Biden, because Joe Biden could stop it. But De Niro is still suffering with a terminal case of Trump derangement syndrome. Spends his time ripping the guy who has been president for 3 years now, not the guy in power now. He complains that Trump told 30,000 lies while president. If you think the establishment hates Trump because he went to Washington and told lies, then I got a vaccine I'd like to sell you. If Trump didn't exist, the Democrats would invent one. The media has nothing better to do than to make you feel afraid and powerless. But you're not powerless, you have a voice. And yes, everything that has a beginning has an end. And Trump running for office, whether he wins or not, whether he gets reelected or not, the world will still continue to go around the sun. Nothing will change. Tomorrow is just around the corner, as is next year and the year after that. Don't be afraid. And don't let people put you into a corner to live in fear for the rest of your life. We're better than this. Be brave.